Okay, so today we're playing Black Ops 4 Zombies in 2025. I'd say the most hated Call of Duty Zombies, but that was before Vanguard came out and before Modern Warfare 3 came out. So we had a lot of bad zombies over the past few years in Call of Duty. That Black Ops 4 probably feels like one of the greatest COD zombies in comparison. But this got a lot of hate. People hated Black Ops 4, especially a lot of the changes that they made, specifically with the perk system and other elements of the zombies experience that they just decided to alter and mess with and do all these experiments with the zombies formula that ultimately didn't pay off because all the changes that they made in Black Ops 4 were ultimately reverted back to the way it was by the time Cold War came out. So, yeah, this really was a very polarizing zombies. There are a lot of people that swear by it and say that Black Ops 4 is actually one of the best zombies. Believe it or not, there are a lot of people that believe that. There are other people who swear that it's the worst. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle where I don't think it was necessarily the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I also don't think it was the worst thing since Adolf. I think it was pretty good overall. It was kind of mid, actually. I'd say it was maybe like a 6.5, 7 out of 10, roughly. I mean, it really was hit or miss, depending on which map you were playing. So the map in this gameplay, for example, was a remake of 5, the classic map from Black Ops 1. People hated the remake that they did in Black Ops 4 and all the changes that they made to the map, that it didn't feel as satisfying to play as the original from BO1. I think the Call of the Dead, I forget the name of it. Was it Tag der Toten? Does that sound right? I don't remember offhand because there were so many maps and there's so many zombies, so much things to remember sometimes in all the games I play on the channel. I'm pretty sure that was the name of the map, though. It was a remake of Call of the Dead, and obviously, since you didn't have George Romero, and it just didn't have the same kind of vibe. It didn't feel as special and didn't feel as interesting to play as it was back in 2011 when it first came out. So, yeah, people didn't really like the remakes. I thought some of the original maps that they had, like the Roman Colosseum map, I think it was called 9, was really good map. I liked the Alpha Omega map as well. I thought was pretty good. There was some pretty good stuff, honestly, in Black Ops 4 that I think if you're a Zombies fan, you will enjoy it, at least to some degree. You may not like it as much as Black Ops 3, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1, World at War, but I think you'll still get some enjoyment out of it, and it will be a worthwhile experience if, and this is a big if, you can get the DLC at a cheap enough price, the Season Pass. I don't think it's very often that it goes on sale, and who knows, maybe one day it's going to be on Game Pass, so it's not even going to matter. It'll be hopefully available for everyone and be more accessible one day. But as of right now, it's Black Ops 6 and Modern Warfare 3 2023, the only CODs on Game Pass, despite having like 20-something games in the series at this point, which is crazy. So hopefully one day that changes. But yeah, Black Ops 4, I think if you can get the DLC for cheap enough, I mean, I think the multiplayer is amazing. It is literally one of my favorite Call of Duty multiplayers of all time. And that's another thing that's also very polarizing if we're talking about the actual multiplayer. There's so many people that either love it or they hate it, and there's so much divisive opinion. Just the entire game is divisive. Even Blackout, there are people who loved it and people who hated it. I've never seen a game more more polarizing overall than BO4 was, and Zombies was no exception. And some of the worst elements from Black Ops 3, like the gobblegums, of course, were brought back. They were elixirs instead of gobblegums, but they serve the same purpose to insert microtransactions into the Zombies game. And yeah, I wasn't really a huge fan of that. I mean, I don't think anyone really was. Like, anyone who was a purist, at least, didn't like all that shit being added in there because it kind of defeated the purpose or just kind of diluted the experience and negated people high round it. Because if you have like all the really good gobblegums, you'd get shit like, oh, your first mystery box, you get a pack-a-punch weapon, or like all this crazy OP shit where like, someone who has like all these crazy gobblegums going to round 50 versus someone going to round 30 with no gobblegums, it's pretty much the same thing, if not more impressive, you know, for the person with no gobblegums getting to round 30 than all the fucking elixirs and bullshit that people use and spend a shit ton of money obtaining. Yeah, it really didn't, it made zombies worse. And that was one thing that sucked about Black Ops 3, despite how amazing BO3, it's considered, like, the best. This is where COD Zombies peaked when we're talking about Black Ops 3. That was, like, the one really bad thing, of course, it was brought into Black Ops 4. Yeah, and people also didn't really like the story and the characters and everything that felt weak. And the Easter eggs, too, people also weren't a fan of in comparison to previous games. So overall, like, for a lot of people, it felt like a downgrade, and I would, as much as I do, like, enjoy Black Ops 4 Zombies, I still admit that it's, like, objectively speaking, a downgrade. Doesn't mean it's not worth playing, though. It really is, actually, just because of the sheer amount of content and all the maps. It has, like, almost the most amount of maps that we've gotten in any Call of Duty Zombies, so there's so much for you to play and experience if you haven't before. I think you will get a lot of value out of it 7 years later, and you will still find plenty of matches. It really depends on the map that you're playing. The Roman Coliseum map is definitely by far the most popular. People like to play on the Call of the Dead remake. That one's also very popular. Alpha Omega is fairly popular, but it really is hit or miss. Like, all the other maps are a little bit harder to get a match for. And if you play, like, the other game mode, aside from the classic Zombies mode, you have, like, other playlists, like the one where it's, like, faster paced and the matches are a lot quicker. You'll have a harder time finding matches for those. So it's not nearly as active as even Black Ops 3. And what sucks about Black Ops 4 specifically is that part of what made BO3 great was the Steam Workshop and the mod integration. That was completely removed. Black Ops 4 to this day isn't even on Steam. It is exclusive to Battle.net, and I think it's the only one that still isn't available on Steam, if I'm not mistaken, of all the Call of Duty games. But man, Black Ops 4 honestly would have been a completely different game if that mod support from BO3 was carried over into Black Ops 4, because that was like one of the big things. The custom content is what made Black Ops 3 so great on PC. So, yeah, overall, I'd say it's pretty good. That's basically the gist of it, and you do still have players in 2025 for Black Ops 4, but it did make a lot of changes that were, in my view, and a lot of people's views, very unnecessary and kind of took away from the experience, and it could have been a lot better and a lot more than it ended up being. But, of all the Zombies games, it's definitely in the mid-tier. It's not even close to being one of the worst.